Look at this map I found. Now, we've all heard the legend of Atlantis, right? But this is a map that claims to show the actual location of the mythical land. It matches the descriptions of Atlantis, to the letter. Whether it was home to Atlanteans or giants, this map says it was real. And here's the wild part. This isn't just some fantasy doodle. It was drawn in the late 1800s, and everything else on it is accurate to modern geography. This might not be a myth after all. Maps that claim to explain some of the greatest mysteries of ancient civilizations. Like, how did isolated cultures, oceans apart, build identical pyramids? Or invent similar architecture and technology? This is the story of those maps. And through them, the story of Atlantis. What is Atlantis? It all starts with Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher living in Athens 2,400 years ago. He wrote of a utopian island beyond the Pillars of Hercules, somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. Plato described Atlantis as a series of concentric circles, advanced canals and exotic metals, golden statues, massive palaces, a powerful navy and high-tech engineering. But most scholars believe Plato wasn't talking about a real place. They say it was a parable, a lesson about human arrogance, not a literal city. Still, the idea refused to die. Science awakens the myth. Fast forward to the age of exploration. The 1500s, when Europeans were discovering new lands. Many hoped to stumble upon a lost civilization, maybe even Atlantis itself. But it was the scientific revolution of the 1700s-1800s that really reignited interest. Archaeologists were finding real lost cities. People started wondering, if Troy and Babylon were once myths, could Atlantis be next? We were also learning about continental drift. How continents once fit together, explaining why distant lands share fossils, and perhaps, cultures. This gave rise to the idea. Maybe all ancient knowledge came from a single advanced civilization. One that sank into the sea. Atlantis. The maps. Enter William Scott Elliot, a Scottish banker turned cartographer and occultist. In the late 1800s, he created 4 maps and a detailed book that together claimed to show Atlantis's entire history. The maps showed the world as he believed it looked, millions of years ago. Based on a mix of geology, guesswork, and spiritual revelations. The red zones on the map? That's Atlantis. And at its center, the city of the Golden Gates. Atlantis revealed. Scott Elliott's version of Atlantis included 2 million citizens, circular canals and palaces, flying battleships powered by energy from an etheric plane, technology beyond modern physics, and gender equality, surprisingly progressive. But here's the thing. None of this came from actual archaeology. Scott Elliott relied on clairvoyance, spiritual visions, and selective science. He even claimed Atlantis finally sank in 9564 BC, during the same flood mentioned in the Bible. A dangerous legacy. Before Atlantis vanished, he said, survivors fled across the world, spreading their knowledge to places like Egypt and the Americas. That's how, he argued, the pyramids appeared in separate civilizations. And then, he made a darker claim, that the Atlanteans were the ancestors of the Aryan race, the most advanced civilization. This racist theory would later influence Nazi ideologies. with men like Heinrich Himmler funding expeditions to find proof of a superior, ancient race. What began as a parable turned into dangerous propaganda. Atlantis today. So, did Atlantis really exist? If you're looking for scientific consensus, the answer is no. There is no empirical evidence for Atlantis as a real place. Plato's story was likely just that, a story. But Atlantis persists in documentaries, conspiracy theories, and viral videos. Because it taps into something deep inside us. We want there to be lost knowledge, hidden truths, and ancient wisdom. Even archaeologists admit. The past is already fascinating enough. We don't need to make things up. To me, these maps are beautiful, but also a cautionary tale. They remind us that not everything that looks scientific is science. Just because it has big words and charts doesn't make it true. These maps, now scanned and turned into posters, are a part of history. A history of belief, mysticism, misunderstanding, and storytelling. And that's okay as long as we know the difference. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.